Good New Year's Eve day. The last day of 2017 and the very last day that you'll ever see the prices that we're currently offering, the embodiment, the AI trade setup, the artificial intelligence supercomputer ever again. After today, all those deals go away. They fade. The price, if you want it today, at the prices that we have today, both the monthly, the quarterly, and the yearly, and to have it grandfathered in forever. That's right, forever. Now, I want you to know we are being courted. That means that this may end up in some fund manager's hand, at least a version of it. That's going to create demand. That's going to bring the price up even further. It's just a simple fact of life. It's been incredibly successful in the very short time that it has lived. We have years of practice with it. We have at least a year's worth of data and showing it to people live. And it has proven itself. We're not interested in growing to outrageous size. I can tell you that. And for that reason, also, there will be limited supply, limited seats to the embodiment. And for that reason as well, its price will necessarily go up. And trust me, and what people have said in the room already that are part of the service, the price that it is at now is so ridiculously low, it's practically giving it away. I mean, this is a $500, $1,000, $2,000 a month service all day long. But it will be going up, to something reasonable. We're only looking to have so many people, a few hundred people, that's it. We believe that that's what we can reasonably support with really high quality one-on-one mentorship and support. We have breakout sessions in our Discord. We have a private Discord server, a private Discord channel on our Discord server, I should say. And this is about the highest quality service that you could possibly imagine, in my view. It's the best that I've ever seen. And I'm trying to be objective, even though that I am trying to promote it. But today's the day. Today, well, I'm going to say that New Year's Day. I mean, there's a lot of people that are churning, but after New Year's Day, that's it. Boom. The first day of the year. I guess we can kick it off like that. I mean, me coming out and announcing it at 1 o'clock on New Year's Day Eve probably doesn't give people enough chance. But so it will be, the first day of the year is the last day. The first and last. The first and last. Your chance to get grandfathered in. All right. What do we got behind us? Oh, that's London. London's calling. Now, it's interesting. I think the UK is my second biggest customer base. First the US, then the UK, then I believe Australia is next. I guess that's where all the smart people are. Of course, we are in Singapore. Let's see, where are we? I'll tell you in a second. All the different places, people all over the world are embracing the embodiment. Here we go. Audience, overview, country. Canada is number 2. United States, Canada, United Kingdom. These are where our customers are. Germany, India, Australia, Singapore, Saudi Arabia, Austria, France. There's a few others. It's where all the smart people are. All right, so if you're not familiar with what the embodiment is, it is a trade, I'm not going to say a trade alert service, it is a trade setup service. The embodiment is an artificial intelligence system that we have developed, that's me and my partner and developers, that embodies, and that's why I call it the embodiment, embodies the philosophies that we've come to learn work. These are the same kind of philosophical carapace, renderings, methodology that the most successful traders in the world use, as well as hedge funds and investment banks. It is, and let me be clear too, that the way it works, we have a foundational understanding of how it works, but we're not so sure why it works so well. I mean, that's not true. What I'm trying to say is that we can't look at the inner beings, and maybe there is some computer scientists out there that can look at the data and say, oh yeah, I can tell, this is what it's doing. I mean, we've given it general parameters and what we want and embedded that philosophy into it, and so that it's acting the way we would expect it to act. But it's not a sentient being. It's basically an inference engine with some ladder logic that has been taught patterns and has the ability to be able to recognize patterns. And let me be clear, it's not like a standalone thing. It is human assisted because it has no real interface. And that's probably what we're going to be working on mostly in the future, so that we can bundle this up as a product for some bigger concerns. And also so that we can be more efficient in how we extract out the setups that it conjures up. And when I say setups, it's not trade alerts that it conjures up. It creates scenarios, patterned scenarios that it has found that have been very, very successful in terms of expected move after this pattern sets up. And it discovers these patterns based on literally hundreds of smaller bits and pieces of patterns. I like to call them the phonetics, the alphabet that we feed it. And then from there, it creates words and phrases and sentences and stories. I mean, that, in a very real sense, that's exactly what's happening. And then it creates this, it finds these stories that seem to have a very high degree of probability of meeting certain expectations. Wouldn't it be cool if you could create a narrative or tell a story to your friend or express something that you wanted to do, and you had a very high degree of confidence that that thing would meet all your expectations, that all your things would be such a dream world. And that's the embodiment. So some hard, fast numbers, the performance that it has given us so far. And I fully recognize that this is an anomaly. Maybe not an anomaly, but maybe the top end of performance. It's been doing better than 92, 93% win rate. With about anywhere from 25 to 50%, sometimes even 500% return on capital. And when I say return on capital, I mean the buying power that you need in order to enact one of these trades. Like a futures trade has margin associated, as does equities and Forex. And so I've been saying up to now that a lot of these trades, a good number of these trades, most of the trades, earn enough on a single minimal contract to pay for an entire year's service. That's got to change. I can see if that could pay maybe a half a year's service or a quarter of a year. Then that would make more sense. A single trade. Maybe even less. I mean, I don't know. You know, there's got to be some, you know, relative and fair and equitable value that we place on this. Because it's going to make people money. And it takes away the hardest part about trading. See, a lot of people don't realize that trading, well, for most people, the hardest part is getting over all their emotions because they can't understand what the hell's going on. They can't seem to have a strategy or a methodology or some discipline that works for them consistently. And so then FOMO and fear and FUD and greed, all of these things enter into the equation and make it very difficult, make it untenable to trade for most people. Some people find a way. Maybe they've found a mentor, or they've gone to work for a hedge fund or a prop trading firm that has also found a way. They have a support structure, very smart people. They use the formula that I've expressed many times, and that is diversity, a diverse formula and convexity of multiple non-correlated strategies. That is about as close to the Holy Grail in trading that you'll ever find. As a matter of fact, it is the Holy Grail. But, you know, not just strategies for the sake of strategies. I mean, there is a lot of work and there is a craft in putting those together. And this is what we taught to the embodiment. And it has taken it and it has embraced it and it performs. It pumps out stories, scenarios for different trades, sometimes as many as 10 in a day. Sometimes it doesn't put out any trade. But I would say the average about 4 or 5 setups, not trades, setups, scenarios. And then about 30% of those actually trigger. In other words, for each one of these scenarios, there is an entry or a trigger that if this trigger is met, then there's a very high likelihood that the outcome, the expectation will be met. And so we found that about 30% of the trades that we put out, or the setups, the stories, actually get triggered. And then of those that get triggered, greater than 90% of them reach profitability. Now, not necessarily reach their target. About 70% reach their target. Some percentage go way beyond the target. A higher percentage comes short of that target. You know, so there's somewhere between that 70 and 90% between 0 and the target price. And that's all a statistical range, and you can treat it like that. So maybe 50% of the way is going to give you 99% surety, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what the number is. But it's very high. And so it provides a steady stream of opportunities for traders. And so now all the trader has to really concern themselves with, and trust me, this is one of the most difficult things for most traders to do, that is to manage their account size, manage their position size, manage their discipline, their execution appropriately so that they can trade these things. Very experienced traders have no problem, except for the fact that they have to kind of deprogram themselves for the way this works, you know. They can't set stops for every trade. It doesn't work that way. You have to take all the trades. That's what provides the anti-fragile nature, the convexity, the risk management by taking all the trades. Because of that, they're uncorrelated to each other. Virtually every trade or every setup that's put out there is unique, that the embodiment has discovered. And that's why they're uncorrelated. They are triggered by, different sets of circumstances. Patterns that the embodiment, the AI setups has found, through its pattern recognition. through looking at hundreds of different phonetics. Imagine an alphabet that has hundreds of letters. That's kind of like what it is. It's an alphabet that has hundreds of letters, and it puts them together into words and sentences and phrases and some scenario. And it's literally looking at millions of these scenarios at once, and then applying that mask over assets that have 20 years, 30 years of data. That's kind of a criteria for us. We need assets that have a lot of data. So that's why we trade the futures and Forex, and we are adding some equities. Probably the FANG stocks and maybe ETFs and that sort of thing. Things that have huge history. We're also looking at elongating that event horizon, that window, that myopic vision that we give it, that 1 week vision. These are basically formatted or formed as swing trades, and we give it about a week to do its thing. But we're also looking at maybe expanding that and maybe looking at a month or 2 months. Wouldn't that be cool? Then we can find very high probability setups for longer term, much higher return trades. So we're looking at that as well. That will be in future incarnations. I mean, those are ideas that we're very, very confident will work and work well. So that is it. That is the artificial intelligence trade setups, trade scenarios, the embodiment. And it's available now at the price that you're going to see right here, right now, till end of day tomorrow. And that's it. You'll never see these prices again, ever. We'll be doing some affiliate marketing and others to make people aware of this. That's the big thing. I haven't really done any marketing. It's all been just my inner circle of people that have discovered this, and maybe a few people that have discovered this on YouTube. And it's a small YouTube channel, so. But we will start doing some marketing with this and getting the word out. We're going to be limiting the people that come in, and we may even profile those people that come in, thereby creating even more demand. But we want to make sure the people will be successful. And there's always some amount of churn and attrition that happens, and so we want to try to minimize that as well. I'm not sure, how good we'll be at that, but yeah. So the people that do come in, we're going to limit the number of people that come in. So that's that. So monthly, quarterly, and yearly subscriptions. The $50 is for the intro training. The yearly subscription, you don't have to pay the $50. So right now, the effective price for a quarterly would be $88 a month, and for the yearly, $83 a month. That is definitely, these base prices are definitely going up. Definitely. They're going up. It's as simple as that. The value is just way too high. This represents probably, between me, my partner, developers, and other supporting casts, 6 or 7, maybe 10 years of man years. Yeah, maybe 10 years of 10 man years of effort that have gone into this, and testing, and real world performance. So it's very, very cool. I am stoked about it. It is. I've had alert services before that I felt very good about. This one, to me, is miles ahead of any of them. One of the interesting things that I found was that a lot of the setups that get triggered, and I haven't checked them all, but the ones that get triggered that we look, and if I then look at it with a juxtaposed volume profile, it seems to follow the structure of the market based on the volume profile, which I found very interesting, without even knowing anything about volume profile, which leads us to believe that maybe we can even add some of that volume profile data in there, volume at price. That might be another addition. Maybe it could be a syntax to the phonetics and the alphabet and the language that we add to it. I guess that would be the best way to look at it, and maybe it could even improve beyond what it's doing now. So we'll have to look at that. But that's been a very interesting development to see how closely it maps to, and it makes sense, that the volume is showing you the supply and the demand of the market and their intent. And so the embodiment obviously is finding this thing through other means, through this sort of amorphous ability, or this prescient ability, I should say, to identify patterns in like a sea of data, sea of randomness, or what looks like randomness to an average person. So that is the embodiment. The last day of 2017? Did I say? I didn't say 2017. I said 2018. Happy New Year to you, to the Watcher and J Visuals. Can AI be possible with BTC? Unfortunately, we don't think so. I'm not saying that AI cannot be possible. With our particular system, we require a good set of long-term data. And with Bitcoin, it is almost impossible to find one good set of long-term data. The most you have is about 9 years, and it's from unregulated exchanges, and there are a multitude of exchanges, all with different patterns and prices. So maybe it's possible if we did some kind of merging of multiple, but we've looked at it and it's hard. It's really hard. So maybe someday when we get regulated exchanges in there and we have good quality data, Bitcoin could be added. We thought we could. But no such luck. Casper. So we have it here, folks. Ernie has revealed his colors. He has been here all year just to shill his chorus, just to increase price for the new year, his views on Bitcoin and crypto as a whole have been exposed. Crypto is the future. Don't listen to Ernie anymore and accumulate now. From Casper the Ghost, who won't reveal his real name. See, that's the difference between me and someone like Casper or other trolls out there, that I have complete transparency. Everyone knows who I am. They know my background. They know who I am. I am straight with them. I am authentic. I say exactly what I believe. I don't hide anything. I don't push anybody down a path. I will argue with anybody. I will listen to everybody. Surf and Goat wants to know how many people have signed up. So far, we have about 60 people. We opened it up in October. So we've been taking on about 20 people a month. I think that we can probably increase that to maybe 30 a month over the next few months. And like I said, we want to get a few hundred people, and then that's about it. That's about the amount of people that we can take in and then provide the kind of quality support that we want to provide. And what's the least we can start with? 5 or 10K? That is possible. That is definitely possible. There are people in the service that have started with that amount of money. And we have ways that you can trade micro positions in virtually all of the things that we trade. So we've shown people how you can do that and how you can trade very small. As a general rule, as a general philosophy, myself and the AI mentor, my partner, we profess, trading small position sizes, and so there are ways to do that. I think that if you started with 20,000 or more, that it'd be a little bit easier because then you have a little more freedom in terms of the contracts that you can take on and the size of the contracts. See, I have to make this bigger so I can see it. Edward de la Rey, what happens when everyone is embodied? Well, first of all, it will never get big enough for that to be a problem. In the futures market, you would really need you would need probably 10,000 people all trading the same thing at the same time to really affect maybe 1,000 people, but we're never going to get that big. 1,000 people might show ticks here and there, but it wouldn't really affect the market. And the other thing is that people don't trade at the same time just by the nature of these calls. So that wouldn't happen either. They would get absorbed. The market is too big. There are other services that will always be literally hundreds of times bigger than us, and they don't affect the market. So Todd 2 says AI equals already intercepted. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but it's a possible acronym. And Spook, Bitcoin about to hit 15,000. You must be related to Tom Lee, who talks like this. Bubblehead Tom Lee. Yeah, what happened to his prediction? 14,000 by the end of the year. Well, it's getting to the end of the year. Of course, all the big moves, Todd says, are not until 2020. Out into the future, way off into the... And as we get closer and closer to that future, it keeps on going further and further out. That's when the big moves happen. $15K by tonight. Edward Del La Rey says it sounds like Cliff High's kind of work. No, nothing like Cliff High's. Nothing. You're thinking of his linguistic, analyzing linguistics. It's nothing like that at all. And I wouldn't put a whole lot of... I'm not going to say anything else. Trading is great if you are selling a trading platform, proprietary formula, course on trading, or best is trading other people's money. The Watcher. Casper, if you think Ernie is a shill, why do you still watch his channel and just hate on him? Because he's a troll. Yeah, and I also helped save him lots of money. So... Oh, thanks, Jacob. Now that you've injected that, Elizabeth Warren has announced her 2020 run. I'm sure we're all looking forward to that. Now, Casper says, I think he's got something working with the AI, yes. Just not all he's proclaiming. I don't know what to proclaim. I'm only giving you the facts of what's happened so far. I'm telling you about how we constructed it and what we put into it. I don't know what it's going to do in the future. Can it maintain, better than 90% win rate? Probably not, because even in our code, in our training, we're shooting for 80%. So it filters out only those things that appear to have an 80% probability. So far we've gone way above and beyond what we've even put in there. But maybe that has something to do with the anti-fragile nature. Maybe we stepped into something. I don't know. But, I mean, the cost is so reasonable that it would be worth it just to get a month's subscription and just watch it for a month. And then convince yourself. I mean, and if you think it's real, then, hey, you got something. Now you can build a trading platform around it. So it is making all of our members, I mean, there are a couple of members that are still struggling with just some of the basics of trading. And so they're learning, and that's what the AI mentor, my partner, he's providing support into our private channel, our private Discord channel. And so that's really where most of this support is going, into helping people with their trading platform, position sizing, getting in and getting out, actually getting them to make the decision to push the button. It's not as easy as you would think. So Nathan says, I'm confused. The volume profile is so important. Why does the embodiment not have this built in? It appears to have found the patterns that that comport to supply and demand. And volume profile essentially exposes, where the market finds value and where it doesn't find value or demand. And so I think that it's coincident. They're attacking the problem from different sides. And so I think you're right, Nathan. I think that that's one thing we're going to look at, that maybe there is a way that we can put in volume profile and add it to the mix, like I said earlier, as a kind of syntax for the AI. And maybe that will help. So we're definitely looking at that. I just don't know. Happy New Year, Demarip, Pyramid Backwards. What is your outlook on the stocks in the coming weeks? Angel, Happy New Year to you too. I think that it's all a political quagmire right now. We have the government shutdown, and so that's going to create some volatility. We have this standoff between Trump and the Democrats, and now I think most Republicans are steadfast as well. And something's going to break. We have more stories, these horror stories about illegal immigrants killing cops and other people. I think that there's going to finally be some public pressure, and we'll move forward, and that will help. I mean, political pressures are some of the most influential forces on the markets. Political, macroeconomic political forces. Redundant. Macroeconomic and macro political forces are still volatile. China today has reported their growth is slowing. Their PMI, or their manufacturing index, reported a retraction for the first time in a long time. Now, can the United States continue to expand and bring the rest of the world along with it? That remains to be seen. I think it will. Thanks, Game Cuber. Happy New Year to you, and I hope you have a great year. I'm gonna be doing probably the same thing that I've done every year. Displays EZ says, I love investors that remind me of the people that hodl in crypto. I would say day traders are more like that. Investors, not so much. I mean, there's a relationship for sure. Nathan asks, what are the top 4 indicators you would recommend a new trader to have in his trading arsenal to execute and exit trades? Well, first of all, you need a philosophy that guides all your actions and all the strategies that you put on. The second is that don't trade just one strategy, one time frame, one asset. Trade multiple strategies, 2 or 3 at least, that are completely uncorrelated with each other. Third thing is position size correctly. Try to trade as small as you possibly can. Trading smaller will take away a lot of the anxiety, and it will allow you to think more clearly. You'll also be able to sleep at night, knowing that even if a position goes awry, that it's not going to kill you. It will allow you to also make better decisions and stay in trades longer. Develop some kind of philosophy that is focused on preserving your capital, and that should be number 1, and making profits second. Be opportunistic and making the profits. And know your platform. Understand it inside and out. Understand all the order types and how to execute them. And always have a way or some kind of situational awareness of your trades, whether you're a long-term trader or a short-term trader. A long-term trader, you may not have to be in front of the computer as much, but still have awareness of what's going on in the world and how it might affect your trades. So those are the things that I would say are probably the prime things that you need to look at as a trader. Stockbot says, I did make a killing on Canadian cannabis with your comment a while back. Well, thank you very much. And yeah, I've made tons of calls, and if you had seen my channel from before, the one that got deleted, I had a like a 9-year record of making some great calls, and it's not. I mean, that's not what I do, per se. It's not like I get out there and I try to make calls. I see things that shape up that become so tacit, so obvious to me, anyways. And then after I've done the research and then sort of proven it, and then I usually will come out with that call, and I've been very fortunate to make some really great calls over the years. The only thing that I would say against that is that had I been had the resources or the gumption to actually back up those calls with all my might and my capital, I would have done much better. But maybe sometimes being uninvolved is better. I don't know. So, for instance, in 2009, actually in 2008, November, I wrote an article in Seeking Alpha. I also did a podcast and several other articles in my then blog, calling the bottom of the market in November. I was calling it for the following year, and I called it for the exact price that it hit, $666. I didn't get much notoriety, but the call is still out there, and you can actually go to. And I also wrote for, I was writing for thestreet.com at the time, and I also published it there. But in Seeking Alpha, it's still there, where I called it right to the dollar, 5 months in advance, and then kept with that story all along. I didn't get much for it, and I didn't really put my money behind it either. I suppose that would have been the true test of whether or not it was a great call, that I had backed up the truck, and dumped all the money in there and put it all on the line. Stockbot asks, Ernie, if I buy a month of the embodiment guidance, can you still get the current pricing going forward? If you buy a month now, you will lock in. You grandfather the price forever. So if you buy tomorrow, end of day tomorrow, if you buy for this new year now, you will lock in the price. Simple as that. You will lock in the price. Whether you buy a month, a quarter, or a year, you will lock in the price. And what some people have done is that they've bought the month, tested it out, and said, hey, I want to buy a whole year at a time. In fact, over 50%, 55% of our subscribers are yearly subscribers. So once they get and I've had people that have bought the month and then said, I'm graduating to the year. They said, I don't want to do this thing with every month. I know I want it, and they take it. So you could do that as well. Someone just asked me about that just yesterday. What are the top? Okay, I already answered that. I did make a kill. Okay, I answered that. No, USA has no chance. They are hostile towards blockchain. China has already built their public blockchain, Neo and Ontology, for their businesses. It is so early on blockchain, and I don't even believe blockchain will be the one suit fits all type of thing. There are many other types of distributed ledgers that are superior to blockchain for other different types of use cases. So we're so early in this cryptocurrency market and distributed ledger idea. It is you cannot make a judgment on anything. All right. That's going to be it for today. I'm going to cut it right here at about 40 minutes. I want to thank everybody. Please go down and click the like button for me. And I hope everyone has a wonderful new year. I hope it's prosperous. And I hope you and your family and your loved ones much joy. And I want to thank everyone. Thank you very much for patronizing my YouTube channel and coming here and contributing to the chat. It's been great. Happy New Year to everybody. We're going to be doing the same thing I do just about every year, going over our friend's house. This is going to be our 25th year going over there. Thanks, Nathan. And thank you, everybody. Now I have to find... I always do this. I forget to find the stop stream button. But in any event, thank you, everybody. One more thing here. Put this up again. Today, end of day tomorrow. That's it. You'll never see these prices again. They're going up. They are going up. But you can grandfather yourself in now. All right. Then back to me. And then adios. See ya. See you next year.